You're sweating. You're grinding. You're waking up at 5 a.m., optimizing your daily routine, and mashing the buttons on your controller as hard as you physically can. You think if you just push a little harder, if you force it just a bit more, you'll finally beat the level. But what if the physics engine of this reality doesn't work like that? What if your frantic button mashing is exactly what's making the whole system lag? Welcome back to the Cosmic Glitch. Today we're looking at a weird little exploit in the simulation, one that your programming usually hates. 0 extra commands. Stop submitting panic inputs. Let me frame it like a rendering engine for a second. Every time you desperately need a specific outcome, money, status, a relationship to go a certain way, it can feel like you start spamming the server. You flood the system with panic. You chew up bandwidth. And then something funny happens. Not always, but often enough to notice. The harder you push, the more reality pushes back. Like the engine has to rebalance. Like the code mirrors force with resistance. And if you've lived long enough, you've probably felt this. The more obsessed you are with controlling the outcome, the more locked out everything starts to feel. So what do you do with that? Not give up, not lie in bed and stare at the ceiling. I mean something more surgical, almost playful. For a minute, you drop the controller, not as a philosophy, as a test. Because I'm not saying effort is bad, I'm saying panic effort is noisy input, and noisy input makes messy output. Taoism has a word I keep coming back to, wu wei. It usually gets translated as doing nothing, but a better translation for this simulation is doing nothing extra. No panic inputs, no brute force button mashing. You still move, you just stop fighting the system with desperate, noisy effort. Wu wei is less forcing, more alignment. So here's the experiment. When you catch yourself spamming the system, jaw tight, brain overheating, trying to brute force a door, just pause. Lower the importance slider. Not to nihilism, just down from 100 to 10. And watch what changes. Because when you stop forcing the code, sometimes the base layer runs smoother. You stop generating resistance. You stop triggering the defense response. Think about a high-pressure moment, an interview, a first date, or being stuck on a piece of code. You grip the controller like your life depends on it. You brute force fixes, rerunning the same loop, trying to control every outcome. And what happens? You get nowhere. Your mind stutters. Your timing collapses. You become less you. Then you step away for 5 minutes, and the solution hits you like it was waiting behind the door, not because you manifested anything. Because the moment you stopped spamming your own CPU with panic loops, your brain's background process finally finished compiling the solution. So the next time you feel that lag, when you're grinding your teeth, trying to force a door open, stressing about a future that hasn't even been rendered yet, try this. Pause. Check your hands. Realize you might be mashing buttons that aren't even plugged in. Unplug the controller for a minute. Lower the importance. Step back. Not as surrender, as strategy. And then just watch. Sometimes the system doesn't need more commands. Sometimes it needs silence, so it can actually run. If you felt this glitch too, stick around. We'll test more exploits together. This is the Cosmic Glitch. See ya.